We didn't stop running for almost 10 minutes. We spotted one or two reapers, but they were scattering too fast for us to give us any trouble. Finally, we tumbled into an intact basement bar and spread out. Every pony was covered in a mat of blood, soot, dust, and sweat. We reeked of smoke and flamer fuel. My brand new shotgun was in dire need of a new barrel, and Glory's beam gun barely had enough charge to function as a flashlight. But me? I couldn't be happier. We were alive. No pony was missing body parts. Well, no pony except me, but still, I hadn't lost any more. And we were all together again. Lacuna had used her magic to recharge our remaining potions before we drank them. I was still far from top-notch. Now that the shock had worn off, I was one throbbing nerve head to hoof. P21 and I both took a Med-X. Scotch had gotten over her shock at the tank and was now telling Rampage about an odd filly she met in the firehouse who had saved her from Steel Rain's rangers. Glory tried to repair my braces with something much more effective than duct tape. Hard to know how she'd managed that. Me? I just smiled and drank a room-temperature Buckweiser as I looked at my 5 friends. "You look happy," P21 said as he sat opposite me. He'd taken one drink of the tepid beer and grimaced. Wuss. But that's why I loved him. He still looked mixed about Rampage rejoining us. Glory remained cool now that things had calmed down. There was no doubt we needed her, but I'd take a while before Glory forgave her for leaving us back at the collegiate. "Well, I feel happy. I look like shit," I replied as I looked at the dusty pool table. There were bones around it. Well, that was a downer. I wondered who'd been playing when the bombs fell, who'd been winning. Had they been having fun getting one last game in before the air sirens wailed? There had once been pictures all over the walls, but most had fallen to the floor and were ruined by mud or moisture. From the few that remained, it looked as if this had been a hangout for the soldier bucks at the naval base. Most of them had smiled at the camera, or were grinning like idiots, or raising bottles of beer in salute. I lifted my bottle to the pictures that remained. Having had a taste of war, though I admitted it had been a small taste, I knew they deserved all the respect I could muster, especially when I knew one of these ponies. Twist and a zebra sat at the bar in one grainy photo, and I carefully levitated the frame off the wall. There was a news article taped inside the frame. "Barroom Brawl Becomes Battlefield" by Ace Buckley. "Chaos reigned yesterday night in progress at Billiards Pool Hall as a group of sailors from Ironmere Naval Base encountered several soldiers from the Merrimere Air Station. Sergeant Twist, formerly of the now infamous Macintosh's Marauders, was sharing a drink with Shuja, one of the elusive predator zebras, still fighting on behalf of Equestria, when the sailors arrived and took umbrage with the presence of the red zebra. Sergeant Twist told the sailors what they could do with their anchors in quite a quote that we cannot reprint, and the fight was on. When sailors from the air station learned that the sergeant was in trouble, they immediately rushed to her assistance. All told, almost 200 off-duty soldiers rushed to the scene to assist their side. Though there were no casualties, Colonel Cupcake at Merrimere said that there would be severe punishment incoming. Some observers, however, have expressed concerns that the former Marauder enjoys special privileges due to the attack on her last year. The question has also been raised of whether the sergeant's open intimate relationship with Shuja has conflicted any loyalties. Few zebras remain in the Hoofington region, and most of those who do are inmates of the Yellow River internment camp. Billiards, owner of the establishment in question, has said that any pony wishing to fight on behalf of the Princess of Equestria was welcome, striped or not. He assures his clientele that his bar would be reopening in just a few weeks. I looked at the pair in the photograph, holding hooves and resting their heads against each other. It could have been Glory and me in that photograph. Looking at Twist, I glanced over. There were some differences. They had different grins, different eyes, then there were the stripes, and the zebra simply looked exotic with that not-quite-a-pony look they had. I turned it over, and there was a little note. Twist plus Shuja, with a heart drawn around the words. Should I tell her about it? Would she freak out? I didn't want to shoot her in the head again, especially not with Scotch tape watching. Not remembering sucks. Shit. Rampage, I called out. She looked over from Scotch. Her armor had holes in it she hadn't been able to patch yet. I could only imagine how she'd gotten another suit. Had she gone down into the tunnels for the armor we'd been forced to leave behind? Maybe she had a second suit left with Big Daddy. Yeah? What's up? She asked as she trotted towards me. I found a picture, I said softly. Back at the museum, a few days back, when we were fighting zebras, you said your name was Shuja. I tapped the overturned picture. I think I found a picture of her. Rampage sat down hard. You mean one of the ponies inside me? I nodded slowly, and she clenched her eyes shut. P-21 slipped off his seat and trotted over to Scotch. Let's get you washed up. There's got to be some clean water somewhere around here with all this rain. Hey, I want to stay with Rampage, the filly protested, as he shoved her towards the stairs. She's not going anywhere. Now move, P-21 said firmly as he shoved her up the stairs. Rampage took the picture and looked at the little note. Shaking wasn't a good sign. She slowly turned the frame over, reaching out with her hoof and running it over the glass, as if caressing Twist. I don't understand these feelings, she said as she started to cry. She gave me a snotty sniff. I feel all mixed up. This isn't me, she said as she looked at me with wide eyes. And I love her so much. And then she pointed at Twist. But this is also me. I know it. I see it. And I love her. I love her so much it hurts. And yet, I hate her too. I'm so angry at her. And she dropped the picture and hugged herself. But why? I don't know these ponies. Two souls in one, Lacuna said softly. Rampage's hooves dug into her sides. I don't understand. Am I Twist? Am I Shuja? Am I both? She sniffed and shook her head. I don't understand at all. I want to rip open my chest. I want to save her, but I don't know why. None of it makes any sense. She stared at me with wide, pleading eyes. Who am I, Blackjack? What am I? I knelt down and hugged her, hoping that she wasn't going to crush me like a bug. I don't know, Rampage. Arlost, Twist, Shuja. I stared at her. I wish I were a smarter pony. Then I could figure all this out. I looked up at Lacuna, wondering just how many souls you could fit into one pony. My whole life I had always been Blackjack. Maybe not the smartest pony in the stable, but still me. I had a mother who raised me better than other ponies I knew, and I had never had to question who or what I was. The sight of the Reaper looking at the picture with such an expression of confusion and pain, her jaw grit as she looked at the pony and zebra and back and forth between them. Finally, she pushed the picture away and sniffled. If Big Daddy could see me now. How do you feel? I asked, and she hiccuped and rubbed her nose. I feel, goddesses, I'd say messed up and crazy, but apparently that's not how crazy works. I look at the pictures, and part of me says that's me, and the other part says no, that's some pony else, and they're fighting with each other. And part of me loves what I see, a part of me hates what I see, and it's just wrong. I want to apologize to myself, to kill myself, to cut out my heart, and just crazy. She looked at Glory plaintively. Are you sure I'm not crazy? Positive. It would explain a lot, wouldn't it? Glory sighed and gave a small, comforting smile. The gray pony just didn't have it in her to hold a grudge. No. If you weren't aware of the conflicting impulses, maybe then it would be some sort of personality disorder, but since you are... Sorry. She took a deep breath. It's how I normally feel. Little impulses and urges and conflicts inside of me, and all them screaming for attention. Sometimes I feel like a school teacher or something, and my head is a kindergarten. She groaned. Mentals help me focus on what's what. Keep it all straight. Well, sorry I can't help more, I said with a sigh. She just laughed weakly, shaking her head. Blackjack, before I met you, I didn't think that I could be helped at all. Nothing made sense. Now I know the name of at least one pony inside me, maybe two. At least I've got some hope that I can figure it all out. There's nothing worse than being a stranger in your own skin, feeling different parts of yourself battling it out. Do you think you're still a threat to Scotch? I asked with a concerned frown. I don't know, she said as her smile disappeared. She hung her head with a sigh. Now that I know, I felt that urge, I won't lie, like a pressure inside me wanting to snuff her out before she could hurt more. But I didn't let it lock me out this time. She rubbed her head. I think I'm fine. Just try not to leave her alone with me if you can help it. No reason to tempt fate. Right? Right. Tempting fate would be the last thing I'd ever do. I asked the question I'd been dreading since seeing the Reapers fighting. Do you think Big Daddy can cut this war off if we get Country Carrots to agree? More importantly, would he still want to? She sighed. Maybe. I think so. If we do it soon. But why would he want to? I thought that Big Daddy liked a good stomp, Glory said with a small frown. Rampage chuckled mirthlessly. He does. But he's smart enough to look past the stomp and figure out that even if he crushes the Rangers, he's not going to have much left afterwards. Big Daddy's always been about encroachment. Squeeze the Rangers out block by block, month by month. He never wanted a war. He just fought because they shot first. Well, somebody else shot first. That gave me hope. Okay, well then, we'll keep going to meet Crunchy Carrots. You can say that you're Big Daddy's ambassador or something. It'll sound better coming from a Reaper than security anyway. We'll explain how things started and apologize and hope she can reel in Steel Rain. It should. Takes a lot for Rangers to break ranks. Rampage agreed. But you can bet Steel Rain won't just let us meet with the Elder, Glory chimed in. Correct. I sighed and looked at Rampage. Do you know the naval base at all? You've been all over the hoof. She nodded and walked to the bar, digging around a bit before coming back with a piece of scrap paper and pencil. She drew a rectangle and pointed a hoof at it. This is the naval base itself. Mostly a bunch of reinforced warehouses. Whole place was lousy with radiation for years, but I guess enough of it washed out and wore off that the Rangers moved in. West of there's a whole bunch of docks. That area is one massive rusty tangle. East of the main area, there's a big factory building. That's where they used to make ships and stuff. She drew a scribbled mess on the left side of the rectangle and a smaller square on the right.